recordings, my recording's so full. I'm going to have to upload a lot of stuff to YouTube and delete stuff. Welcome, everyone, to what will be our last mindful moment in a little while. Definitely not forever. We've paused mindful moments before and we came back stronger, and we will be doing the same again. And I'd love to, I'm going to chat to you a little bit more about it, but I would like to just read this poem first. So we're doing it a little bit differently, and I invite you just to drop your gaze or close your eyes and just let this land on your body in whatever way it does. And then we'll talk a bit afterwards and then do our meditation. It's The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wooddrake rests his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day's blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a while, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. So, welcome to our last mindful moment for a little while, as I said. And we've had a pause before, and this is just a pause. And it's to allow me to give myself the time to rest, to turn inwards, and to have my winter. I teach a lot about this in my Feminine Wisdom course, and I'm being called to do it for myself personally on a deeper level at the moment. To stop waking in the night. Thankfully, I don't wake in despair, although sometimes I think I do. Sometimes I think the world has gone mad and how will we ever recover? But mostly it's because I'm just always on. I'm always thinking, I'm always fixing, I'm always helping. And so now I'm taking this moment to save and fix and help me, and to lie down where the wooddrake rests and the great heron feeds, to come into the peace of wild things, and to rest in the grace of the world and to be free. So that's my intention for this time. And it feels very synchronous and supported for me. And maybe it is this time for you or for many of us. In fact, maybe for quite a lot of the world. But it's whatever is right for you, and what's right for me isn't necessarily right for you at all. And recovering from COVID takes a season, as Ruth and my mum were just chatting at the beginning of this call. It takes a season. It's not just 10 days. If you start non-infectious and you can come out of self-isolation, doesn't mean you're better. And this is a journey. And someone came to my Feminine Wisdom course last week. We held it outside. And she said she had just been to see Helen Didcote, who is our wonderful homeopath that we saw a lot when our children were small. And she's a wise woman. And she said that she really feels that this COVID is like a great reset and an upgrade of your immune system. She says people are coming out of it with this great reset. And I would agree. And you know, the purpose of so many of our childhood illnesses, our measles, mumps, chickenpox, all those nasty things, or so that our children's immune systems would come back stronger and more resilient. And there's so many studies to show that this is the case. And I remember actually Helen Didcote, in fact, told me about, this was so many years ago, that there was studies showing children's art before they'd got sick and after they'd got sick. And I mean, I'm sure you could Google this, or maybe not Google, DuckDuckGo or Ecosia, but showing actually the sort of developmental leaps that happened because of their sickness. And there are these developmental leaps. This is what happens when our immune system gets taxed. And yeah, this is how it works. But we were then taught, and more recently taught, to fear it all, that we shouldn't get sick, that getting sick was a sign of weakness and would make us weak, and we'd become weak and we'd never come out of it. So just don't get sick. So we injected and we medicated and we vaccinated. And our children and us don't really get these big sicknesses. We have a huge sickness like cancers and things like that. Or we have this kind of very low grade autoimmune, always sick, never properly deeply sick, like we have been now in this dark night of our soul, Ruth and myself and anyone who's had COVID. I think you'll agree it's a bit of a dark night of the soul, like it's a going inwards. It's a not, and my mum's had it. My mum, I think, has navigated dark nights, and she's navigated this better because she's actually done the work before, and she was doing the work. But she, so we often try and bypass it. So now we find children with chronic autoimmunity, with very weak immune systems, with always low-grade sickness. And I've sat with a few women this week, including Ruth, who came to our home on Saturday morning, and other women who came to our Feminine Wisdom course on Thursday, who have had COVID and had it quite badly because of inflammatory systems and things that we're prone to. And I gave it to them. I mean, I gave it COVID to Ruth, to my mum, to Tertia, because I had no idea it was COVID. I sat there with a snotty nose. I had no exposure. And I would never in a million years have knowingly given it to them. Never. And it's flipping hard to go through, hard to have given it to someone and know that what they're going through is because you gave it to them. But we're all getting it go through it now. Slowly, we're being kind to ourselves. We're allowing the fatigue and we're allowing the rest. And we're allowing the emotions and we're allowing the self-compassion. And we are honoring the need to turn inwards and to go to ground, but also to be surrounded by a tribe and to be supported in community. And it's feeling good. And as Tertia, who I also gave it to, said at our Feminine Wisdom course on Thursday morning, she says she knows the moment she got it from me, when she hugged me to say hello that morning. And I had quite a few people and not everyone got it. It's actually quite interesting to see who got it and who didn't, and kind of why. It's so fascinating. But she says, knowing what she's knows and what she's having gone through what she went through, and she also calls it a dark night of the soul, and she was very sick. She would hug me again, she says. In fact, she says she would hug me twice. So if you want to actually hear about Tertia's COVID experience and what she's doing to help support herself, she's also a wise woman. She's done a lot of work on her own health, and she knows an incredible amount about the oils and about the emotions of the oils. I learn from her every day, and I've referred so many people to see her. She's actually talking, and she'll be talking uncompliantly because you're not allowed to mention essential oils and COVID in the same sentence, because then you're claiming that it can treat, and we're not claiming that anything will treat anything. These are all just tools to support. And so she'll be talking tomorrow lunchtime. We also have Dom's COVID class that she did on oils, supporting with the oils, and then my blog, which covers a lot of things. So if you need any support and any insight and need to share any tools with people, those are the sort of things you could send them or share with them or contact me for. And so I'm just honoring at this time what's showing up for me, and I encourage you to do the same for you. As the moon is waxing, and I'm watching Jupiter in front of the moon, and with it I realized that the moon moved into Capricorn, or Capricorn moved into the moon this morning, because it was so amazing. I'm so proud of myself. I could see something because I have my little app and I see the moon. Obviously I don't need the app to see the moon, and then I know that that's Jupiter because it's bright, and that's Saturn because I have the app, but now I can recognize them. And last night when I went out to see them, Jupiter was sitting there and the moon was sitting there. And then this morning when I went out, Jupiter was right under the moon. And when I held it up, the whole of Capricorn was around the moon. The moon was inside Capricorn. So I think the moon has moved into Capricorn, as the astrologers would say, but I just could see it. So I have no idea what this really means, but I just could see that it had moved and changed. And I did a session with Michael Lennox. Ellen sent it to me, my Aunt Ellen, on this, last week. He did a sort of half-hour talk and then a half-hour meditation, and it's really lovely, and I can share it with anyone who'd like to. And he talked about it in his starry ways, which I'm not going to get into now. I think it was the mention of Cancer. And Cancer represents self-care, nurturance, looking after ourselves, all the stuff I'm talking about now. And then also Capricorn, climbing a mountain of our purpose and our desires and our heart desires. But to climb this, and he said we've got this interplay at the moment, but to climb this mountain, we actually have to go inwards and get our strength in the mention of self-care now before we can climb this mountain. And it felt so congruent for me. And that's what it feels like I'm doing, and fully embracing winter so I can step into my spring and summer when I'm ready. And maybe that will correlate with the spring and summer, some of the Southern Hemisphere seasons. I don't know. I don't know what it will look like, but I'm giving it space so that I can do that. And then when I'm ready, I can bring more stuff to harvest. So, but for now, it looks like the fertile void, like nothing's going on, like it's selfish and slow and boring and unexpected. And just Nikki's not quite Nikki, she's not quite what we expect, but it has to be. And I'm excited, and it feels very right for me. And if it feels right for you too, you can also do it. It's not quite going into a cabin in the woods for 3 months, as Merle, who led our session of journaling on our Feminine Wisdom course did, and as Walt Whitman and Emerson, two of my most favorite poets and philosophers did. That would be nice, and maybe I should do that, take a week and do something like that. But it's about creating more boundaries and being more available, mostly via appointments for my doTERRA team, for my clients, and not at the moment doing blogs and mindful moments for a while. Still doing my Feminine Wisdom course, finishing that off. That's my heart song. But it doesn't mean I don't hold on to the same truths. I'm still very much here. I still very much believe the same things. But you won't see as much of me out there for the moment because I'm spending more time in here. So I'll be practicing what I preach, using my oils to support me. I love my rose, as I've said before. It's I use it just at the beginning of our session. I use it often in my heart when things are hard, and to connect with love and to ground myself. And it is physically the most profound healing oil. I mean, it's incredible how it can actually heal. I think there are 44,000 rose petals in one little thing of rose. And this is a touch, so it's available at the moment just on a limited time offer. I think it was very synchronous that it was launched then. And I'll be talking a little bit more. I'm doing a little video later on the Ancient Oils collection. I've also been using myrrh a lot because myrrh connects us to the divine feminine and to the sort of matriarch. And, with the passing of our matriarch and celebrating Granny June yesterday. And ironically, myrrh is amazing for supporting thyroid stuff and our throat, because our thyroid sits here, our thyroid gland. And women, we've always had a difficult time speaking up because of a lot of our history. And so I put my myrrh on my throat because it supports my thyroid gland, but gives me courage to speak up and engage with my female lineage. And then Siberian fir is also launched this month and is hugely powerful, hugely high vitamin C. And if you don't have it for this COVID time, and with the funny vaccine shedding that seems to be happening, people are talking a lot about pine needle tea, supporting themselves if they're in contact with people who've had the vaccine or that they've had the vaccine, and they're wanting to support this whole process of shedding. There's a better word for it, I'm sure, but it's just the Siberian fir is unbelievable, and we're putting in our green juice, and you can add it to your tea and things. So I'll talk more about that in a video on our oils group later. But for now, I invite you to close your eyes or to divert your gaze softly in front of you. And just with the sound of the singing bowl, as each sound drops off, just allow your attention to drop deeper into your body. Perhaps for a few breaths, just consciously elongating your exhale. And on each exhale, allowing that energy to drop down towards your lower legs, your feet, and into the earth. And on your next exhale, following this exhale, down, down, down into your feet, into the earth beneath your feet, feeling as if you had roots reaching deep down into the earth. Anchoring you deep, deep inside the earth's core, giving you strength, giving you nourishment, giving you support, and actually actively and consciously with the inhale, accepting that strength, absorbing that strength, taking it in. And that nourishment and that support. Feeling the interplay of the exhale and grounding, and the inhale and absorbing. Allowing your attention just to rest here for just a few breaths. And then allowing your attention to drift into your lower legs, your ankles, your calves, your knees, then into your upper legs, your thighs, your hips, and your pelvic bowl. And just noticing the sensation of anchoring and grounding that the lower half of your body provides. Perhaps allowing a gentle softening or letting go to allow for even more grounding. Noticing that you may have been holding on or have places of tension that you didn't even realize were there. And gently sweeping around our pelvic bowl, as if you would sweep or wipe the inside of a bowl. So you're about to prepare to serve something in that bowl. So we just take a cloth mentally in our minds and we just gently sweep around our pelvic bowls. Noticing colors, sensations, textures, light, or dark, or heaviness, or difficulty connecting in. Just noticing it all and breathing through it all. Just for this moment, being there in our pelvic bowl and just gently wiping around, just seeing what is there. And then reaching the back of your pelvic bowl the sacrum, this triangular bone that sits in the ball. A sacred bone from which the spine attaches and emerges and is grounded and supported, and noticing the uncurling of the spine from the pelvic bowl, the reaching up, and just allowing yourself to perhaps adjust your position to allow your spine to reach up to its full extent without discomfort or pushing, not with striving, but just with the gentle openness and allowing. Allowing your shoulders to gently drop, soften so that perhaps your shoulder blades drop down your back and that your neck emerges, reaches up to your skull, your head, the top of your skull reaching up towards the heavens. So that we are both grounded and uplifted at the same time. Bedding down and reaching up. Noticing this sovereign dignity as we sit upright, as we expand our shoulders and our chest by letting go. Noticing perhaps the soft front of our bodies, bellies, abdomen, solar plexus, heart and lungs. Soft and vulnerable, yet constantly working, constantly providing. Traveling up the soft part of our fronts, up into our throat area, our third chakra, the area from which we speak. Just noticing what sits here today. Again, noticing if there's light, dark, color, texture, weight, heaviness, lightness. Or whether it's even hard to tap into the space at all. It's all okay. If you like to feel more of a connection, you can always rest your hands on your throat or on your heart, wherever you want to bring more of a sense of connection to just hold tenderly. And then up into our face, soft parts of our head. Just noticing perhaps your forehead, your temples, your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw, your chin. And perhaps allowing for a gentle softening and letting go of your eyes, of your cheeks, of your jaw as you just open your mouth, just gently. Perhaps allowing a slight smile to drift onto your face for no reason. You don't have to have a reason. Just because it's there. And then just allowing your attention to drop back into your body, into your breath, the giving and receiving of a single inhale and an exhale. Honoring this continuous cycle in our body that teaches us every moment that we cannot give without receiving. We cannot receive without giving. It has to be both. Sometimes it's not perfectly balanced. Sometimes our inhale and exhale are not perfectly balanced and we don't want them to be. Sometimes there's time for a bigger inhale. Sometimes there's time for an extended exhale to calm and ground and soothe us. But there's always both. There's always the inhale. There's always the exhale. There's always the receiving. And there's always the giving. And perhaps in these next few breaths, noticing what you're well practiced in, which is easier, which comes more, the inhale or the exhale. And just perhaps allowing that to shine a light on perhaps your life, your relationship with giving and receiving. Not trying to change it or coerce it to be different, just noticing what it is. It's the inhale deeper or the exhale. Which feels easier. And then for this last minute of our meditation, I invite you to put your hands on your heart if you'd like. Otherwise, to keep your hands rested on your lap or wherever they're comfortable, and just to breathe in and out directly of your heart space. And we are going to consciously do a breath called the 5-5 breath or take 5 breath. And we're breathing in for a count of 5 and out for a count of 5. You can also rest your fingertips together and breathe in and then open up your fingers and exhale and close your fingers. Or you can trace the outline of your hand, breathing in, tracing up your thumb, breathing out, tracing down your thumb, breathing in, tracing up your index finger, and breathing out, tracing down your index finger. And just in this moment, balancing our breath consciously. And finishing your last few breaths. And as we do this, we consciously set an intention to balance our giving and the receiving in the world. And that might not look like balance the same every day, but perhaps if we have been giving, now's the time to balance with a bit more receiving. Or if we've been receiving, perhaps it's a time to balance with more giving. Wherever you are, whatever has shown up for you. Let's honor this and set our intentions. And then with the sound of the singing bowl, just gently coming back into this room and its space. When you're ready, opening your eyes and looking at colors and textures and shapes around you. And then looking into the faces and the names of each other, thanking each other for being here, thanking you all for supporting me in my mindful moments. To stay on and chat for a bit, or to put anything in the chat. Just to remind you that there is a lovely library now of mindful moments that are on my website. You can access those at any time. If you'd like to continue with the practice on a Tuesday morning, I may do that. There's also Calm and Headspace as apps, but those have some paid for stuff, which is really valuable and worthwhile, and some free stuff. The Insight Timer is mostly all free. It's got some incredible meditations and teachers giving so much of their work on that. As I mentioned, I'll be teaching a little bit more about my just a little bit about our oils, because there's a flash sale at the moment on ancient oils. So we have the wonderful opportunity to dive in deeper to these oils. To be honest, I've only really used my myrrh, and so I'm excited to learn a lot more about the incredible healing that is in these oils. And people can get them individually or together. And again, the rose and Siberian. So I'll be teaching on that. And if you or your loved ones are going through COVID and want to know more, there's I'll be posting the recording and the cheat sheet from John's COVID class. There's my blog that has lots of information, and Tertia will be doing an uncompliant, honest, frank chat about COVID tomorrow lunchtime. And and then at the end, if you leave before this, then I encourage you to find a song called May the Long Time Sun, because at the end I'm going to play it after we've had a chance to chat. But if you have to go off now, I encourage you to play it for yourself. May the Long Time Sun.
The children's one.
The children's one, yeah. Thank you.
Nikki.
Yes.
Good morning. So while you were doing the breathing and the balancing, I was reminded, and we know lots of things, and sometimes they slip out of our memory and come back in again, how connected we are with the earth. And I think it was very poignant for your poem that you did today as well, that our lungs actually look like upside down trees. And every exhale we give out, the tree receives our carbon dioxide. And every inhale that we receive the oxygen from the tree. So I had a very strong
what a beautiful
thinking about that. So I thought I'd share that with you.
Reinforce the giving and the receiving and the cycle of life and nature, and us in nature and nature.
And connection.
Yeah, nature and us in nature. Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Ellen. Thanks for sharing that.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you for joining.
In the room.
We'll see you again soon.
I'm going to be reading up and checking up a lot. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. That was really lovely.
Thank you, Pascal. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stop the video, but I want to listen to your song. So have a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and I'll do this. Let me get the song up. And I love your wallpaper.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. That's a lovely next slide.
Thank you so much. I'm just finding the song, and then so stay on for a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm just going to switch off the video because I've got to do a couple of things.
Okay, great.
Okay, bye.
I struggled to find.
Thanks, Lex. Speak to you tomorrow.
Yes, I can't see who that is right now.
It's Zoe. It's perfect.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks so much.
Take care, my friend.
Looking for this. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I will chat tomorrow. And here we go. I don't know why it won't search it. Here we go. Well, this is by Snatam
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Lovely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Nikki.
Mm.
I think we should also just explain the first one that we sing is really for us. It's for me. So may the long time sun. The second one is for family and relationships. And the third one is for the world. So you're surrounding and yeah.
It's like
thank
our
you.
love and kindness meditations. It's our meta meditation where you offer first to yourself, then to those around you, and then to the bigger.
Yeah. Thank you, darling. And this has been a treasure during COVID time. And I've so enjoyed it. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And it's been so nice to be part of a community.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you
And
all
the
again.
community is continuing.
Yes.
And we are together in many ways.
Yeah. So thanks everybody. Take care. Have a happy day.
You too, Pam.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Nicola, our feminine wisdom is on Thursday, isn't it? Where we get together at your
In
house.
person, yes, and then the online's Wednesday night. Yes, so Wednesday night.
Okay, and it's 9:30, is it? Am I right in saying that?
No, it's 8:30, and then we start
it's
at 9.
8:30 for 9.
Come anytime from 8:30 for we've got tea and coffee and yummy stuff, and get yourself
And
a
a
nice
fire.
seat in the shade or the sun, and a fire. We'll have a fire going, and so yeah.
I found the fire so healing on Saturday.
Oh, it is so wonderful. I know we like so enjoying having fires. Yeah, so we'll see you
Thank
about
you.
8:30
Great.
on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. Have a wonderful day.
And you too. See you Thursday. Yeah.
Thanks, Nikki. See you later.
Thanks, Marion. Lovely to meet you. Yeah, we'll see you just now.
See you just now.
Yeah. Thank you, Corinne.
Yeah, thanks, Nix. I was trying to find all my husband's. Yeah, thank you. It's really good.
Nice to have you and nice to connect with you. Because where do you live again?
I'm in Natal.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused with all the groups still. I'm trying to find my way.